Great to be here with you, Lewis. Great to join you guys, and thanks for having me to talk Rialto. You're only the 13th interview I've done today about it.
Wow!
But the first one I booked. Your show just doesn't come on until the afternoon.
Exactly.
And one of the very few that I was willing to go live with, where I came to them. Everyone else, I said, no, you got to come to the Rialto.
Nice.
You got to drive down Glenwood Avenue. But you guys, I came to you.
Exactly.
Should have done a live show from the Rialto. Why didn't we think about it?
In the future,
it's on the table. Hold on.
It's
Lewis.
on the. Is it on the docket?
You might just get what you ask for.
Okay.
Yeah, I made my way down to the sales bin before I came in here. And
Okay.
the programming bin. So
Always working.
We'd love to see some live podcasting, live performances, all kinds of that stuff is going to be coming to the Rialto.
All right, so Rialto known for being a movie theater.
Sure.
For those who don't know, the Rialto Theater is located on Glenwood Avenue in the Five Points area.
Yep.
And mostly just known for being the oldest movie theater in Raleigh.
Yes, and in its most recent history, it's been almost exclusively movies. They've done some other things, but mostly it's been an independent art house film place for a while.
Now, you're looking to possibly add to that, right? As opposed to just being movies, you want to add more to this, basically be like a multi-purpose place.
And the cool thing about it is it's a page from the Rialto's past as well.
Yeah.
In the late 80s, early 90s, they had live performances that like you would not believe. Like Alison Krauss and Union Station played there.
Really?
Wow.
Tori Amos, Melissa Etheridge, Widespread Panic played there in 1993. Fishbone, Iggy Pop, Devo, Arlo Guthrie, all these bands. Now, and I've said this, if any of those bands would like to come back and play, they are welcome back at the Rialto for an encore performance.
Let's make it happen.
Come
on down.
We want to find the 2023 version of those bands. I mean, Tori Amos is playing in the Rialto, and like 2 years later, she's the biggest thing in music and winning Grammy Awards and all that. Bjork played the Rialto when she was with a band called Sugar Cubes.
There you go.
And she kept referring to the very cool dome lighting as the UFO hovering above the audience. So just an amazing music
name for
history
you.
that, again, we'll be kind of hearkening back to that as we move forward. But not just music. Music will be a big thing because I think Raleigh's got great live music, and we feel like we can just be another piece of that music scene that already exists with Lincoln Theater, Red Hat, Poorhouse, the Ritz, Walnut Creek, the Cocoa Booth. Just all of them great, and all of them like a little bit unique, right? It's a difference seeing a show, even at like Red Hat versus Cocoa Booth, which are both outdoors, It's a different experience. And so the Rialto with our indoor theater, but a big space, 400 plus seats in there. I think it sets us a little apart, but fits us in the music scene as well. And then comedy we want to do as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then other live stuff. Jokes aside about podcasts, they're a very popular medium. And there's podcasts that I've never even heard of that get 1 million listeners. And then if you have 1 million listeners, that means there's 300 people in Raleigh that are listening to you, right?
Probably.
So having a live podcast performance. If Mr. Beast wants to come up and roll,
is Mr. Beast gonna roll through?
Bring him, my man. As long
With
as he
his
brings
big
his
thing of
wads
cash.
of money, as long as some of it spills out onto the floor as he's there. But we live performances of all kinds we will be putting on at the Rialto. Not abandoning movies. Movies are still crucial and will always be a part. But we just want to, again, take a page for what it's been. It's been several different things in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. We just heard our man Rusty, who runs this place, he watched Woodstock, a broadcast of Woodstock at the Rialto. So we'll do all kinds of stuff there, man.
Well, so, I mean, your passion for the Rialto is, it seeps through everything, obviously. What's one of your favorite moments and memories?
All right, so the coolest for me was growing up. I was I'll get to the coolest.
Okay.
Sorry, you can
take your
tell
time.
I'm a
Take
little
your time.
long-winded. Growing up, my parents, we literally could walk to the theaters. That's part of why it's special to me. It's the neighborhood I grew up in. It's the neighborhood where I live now. 5 Points, just a little bit north of downtown. And it's cool. As downtown has grown, it's still separate from downtown. But like when I was a kid, I would have thought walking from the Rialto to downtown is like, no, I need a car. And now you're like, no, this is like a little neighborhood just north of downtown. Great little epicenter. So my memories are walking there and seeing movies. So I was the youngest of 3 kids and 10 years younger than my oldest sister. So by the time I was like 10 and 11, they're like, we're not getting babysitters. You're just coming with us. So I'd go see a film at the Rialto, and no disrespect, I'm sure they were all great films, but at 11 years old, maybe they were just a little over my head.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, I'm probably going to have to read subtitles, but there's a chance I might see some tops come off in these foreign. So like foreign films had a much higher percentage chance. So
but then
fair
point.
A more visceral memory for me. Again, my dad would read Indie Week, and any movie that was well reviewed that was playing at the Rialto, he would go see. It's a Friday night. I'm 15 years old. I'm a dork, so I don't have anything else going on. I don't have my license. So he's like, why don't you just come to this movie with me? It's got a weird name. Movies back then had like Ghostbusters, and you know what you're going to see. People killing ghosts, right? But so in the early 90s, this weird name film, like, yeah, whatever, we'll go. Me and my buddy, we sit down. And we are blown away by Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
wow!
And one of the coolest parts about it is, if you'll remember, the opening scene is John Travolta telling Samuel L. Jackson all the ways that Amsterdam is cooler.
Yeah.
And everybody remembers the Le Big Mac and stuff. But one of the things he says is,
Royale with
did you know in a movie theater in Amsterdam, you could just drink a glass of beer? And the Rialto at the time was the only movie theater I knew of that served a glass of beer. And so there was this like little chuckle of like, we must be in a kind of a cool place if they're talking about how cool it is in Amsterdam and we're drinking a glass of well, not we. I was 15 with my dad.
Yeah.
But they were serving beer here, so it's that is a strong memory for me at the Rialto.
And now that's standard, just beer at a movie theater.
Beer, wine, and in fact, as I think I'm allowed to announce these things, we've
Sure,
talked to the
do
Wake County ABC. I got my ABC license, baby.
Wow.
We'll be on the liquors. I sat down with
Let's go.
I don't wanna,
the real answers we were looking for.
I don't want to dox any ABC people. Actually, they seriously have been awesome to work with, from the permitting people, whatever. But I sat down with my guy today, and basically he showed me this magazine you get when you're a restaurant and you order ABC, and it's like the I'm trying to think of the best catalog as a kid that had toys in it.
Yeah.
It's like looking at a toy catalog, but it's like all liquor. Like, ooh, I want that. Ooh,
it's like the old East Bay catalogs.
Yes.
That's a good one. Yeah.
The old East Bay catalogs.
So I got my hands on that today, and I was like, oh, this is all I ever wanted.
That's awesome.
Well, all right, let's Hayes Permar. Can we say you're the owner of the Rialto?
No, you cannot say I'm the owner.
Or you're the principal?
No, I am
the managing
partner.
partner.
The managing partner of a group.
There you go.
That has taken over. But I want to be real clear on this. Seriously, and I'm not trying to be cheesy or anything. The Rialto to me is like the smells coming off the Char Grill, or the grass at Dick's Park, or the glow off the Krispy Kreme, hot donuts now sign.
Yeah.
Legally, somewhere you can go look up, somebody owns these things, right? Yes, but in reality, like, nobody owns that, right? Like that, nobody owns the smell coming off Char Grill.
No.
And the Rialto is a feeling, a vibe that the former owner, Bill Peebles, and the owner of the building, who's been a great neighbor for a long time, they have created this incredible legacy. So I'm just the guy lucky enough to be able to steer the next chapter. And I know that's people, the TV folks are like, yeah, I need your title. And I'm like, popcorn popper and dude who's super excited to be a part of this next thing, and they're like, that's not going to work, man. I'm like, well, don't do owner, because that's not
managing partner.
I'm the guy who's I'm the spokesperson at the very least.
Okay, so the managing partner, spokesperson, popcorn popper, and all around hyped guy Hayes Permar joining us here in studio.
You can do those kind of titles on radio.
Yeah,
exactly. You can do those.
Shout out
things.
to radio.
They need more description.
And you know what? You're in charge, so you can name yourself whatever you want to be.
Right.
Speaking of the process to get to where we are today, how long was this process to get to where it is? Because Rialto's been closed for over a year now.
Yeah.
Who approached who? Where did the ideas stem from? There are a lot of moving parts in order to purchase this place, and not only just to get it back up and running. So take us a little bit into the process.
It's some of the things will remain in the process.
Sure, that's totally fine.
The reality is the Rialto, much like I was saying, it doesn't feel like something that somebody owns, even though they're hard work of many that have gone into making it awesome, right?
Yeah.
But it just feels like it's this thing that exists and forever would. And every Friday night, the Rocky Horror Picture Show would go on, and when a cool movie comes through, it would go there. You just believe that would happen. So when, we've had conversations, Dennis, about our goals and what we want to do next and what we're trying. And
Absolutely.
Never would I stop to say, and maybe I would try and run the Rialto, because you don't think of it, right?
Mm-mm.
But then when you heard it was possible, when you heard, hey, the Bill's retiring, because he's been doing it for a long time, just instantly I was like, I think that might be what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit of whimsy. You know me, I'm a little bit of a dreamer. I do feel very proud of myself. I went and had a lot of practical conversations, a lot of grounded conversations.
Sure.
Chris Edge over at that station was somebody I talked to about the live music scene here. He was very supportive. And people were, super enthusiastic in the way they reacted to me about it, but they weren't just they helped support my dream, but they were also like, but yeah, let me tell you A, B, and C that you need to do, or look at X, Y, Z where this has worked before. Like, I think this can work, Hayes. Dave Rose at Deep South Entertainment, who I know has done all kinds of live music around here. He's one of the people that sort of mentored and encouraged me and said, yeah, you need to do a couple things, but this venue was hot in the 80s and 90s, and it could be hot again. So from there, it was just finding the right group of neighbors and friends who believed, selling them on the vision, which wasn't that hard. Again, a lot of people had the same reaction. And for me, man, there's a lot of learning, dude. I feel like I should go to Wake Tech. Shout out Wake Tech, my man Scott Rawls, who runs things over there. I should take them the packet of like, hey, here's the business plan that I did for this, the profit and loss. I learned what TICAM means in like rent structures, whatever. Like, can I get some credits at least, or maybe like
go be an adjunct professor or something?
Can I get no? Not even. I don't even.
Can you kick me an associate's
minor? I didn't graduate from college. I still need these credits, but like,
can I get an associate's, please?
This felt to me like doing, two or. Not that I ever did 3 college classes worth of work, but it felt like that's what it should feel like. So to your question, like, yeah, it felt like a lot of work and a lot of process, and it was very cool to close and be like, woo, sigh of relief. But then you just turn around, you're like, and now let's start the next project, which is getting this thing up and running again.